from myself and all of your millions of fans, welcome back to General Hospital. It's wonderful to have you there.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you, when you saw the viewer backlash on social media to your untimely departure from the show back in January, and how they spoke out to have you back, what was your reaction to all of that? It must have been overwhelming and touching for you.
It really was, and I have to say I was shocked because I've left the show before and not with that kind of a response. So I couldn't stop reading it. Frankly, it's embarrassing, but I got kind of addicted to it because I could believe how long it went on and how big it was. I think part of that is because it looked like they were finally giving me a story with the mayor storyline, and then they yanked it so quickly, and I think people felt kind of cheated.
Absolutely, absolutely. But in all the years that I've been doing this, and we've both been in daytime a long time, I thought it was the biggest rally of support I've seen for anybody, and I just thought it was great, and I'm glad you got to see that after what you had gone through. Were you pitched, and did you know the story or storylines you would come back into when you rejoined the show this time, that of Laura's husband's Kevin switcheroo, where his now murderous twin Ryan is pretending to be him? Did you know what you were stepping back into?
I knew that we were going to start with the Ryan beat. I did know that, which I thought was great. You know, it's a good, everybody loves a good sociopath, and John is a wonderful actor.
We all do.
We do, because it makes for an exciting story.
Mr. Mayor, what brings you by? Your brother. It appears someone is making a documentary on Ryan's reign of terror.
Yes, presumably someone just interviewed Scott Baldwin.
And I can only imagine what juicy sound bites he served up. Look, this city has already suffered enough with bad publicity. I mean, we were just getting back on our feet with this earthquake.
Right, and I agree. The city needs more good news, a minimum of bad.
Yes, I'm glad to hear we're on the same page. So when these bloggers or interviewers come calling, just politely decline to comment. With a lack of cooperation on your part, I think they'll just move on and leave Ryan where he belongs, in the grave.
Perhaps Ryan's due a resurrection.
Do you think Laura will figure out that her man is locked away at Ferncliff and that she is with an imposter? I think we would all love it if Laura is the one that figures it out, that she's the smart one here. I mean, she saw the list of names of women in Kevin's, a.k.a. Ryan's desk, including Felicia's name the other day. Wouldn't it be great if Laura was like, aha, the one?
Yes, it would be wonderful if it's Laura. It is her husband, and this is a love story as far as I know. So I certainly hope so, although it might be Carly, but she's awfully curious.
It seems like Laura may run for mayor again against Ned. There's rumblings of that, which she was originally set to do before you left the show last time. If that occurs, would you like to see her win this time, even though it may keep her busy while Ryan is hatching his scheme?
I don't think the winning is important. I think the campaigning is where the story is. There was something, I think a fan floated an idea about if she were actually mayor, how she might interact with Sonny, which I thought was an interesting idea, and I think it came from a fan. So, you know, I'm just happy to have story, frankly, because it's awfully boring for me to just be hanging around. I don't want to be window dressing. If it came to that, I think I might just leave.
Right. And nobody wants to see you as window dressing. That's the thing. We all have invested in you and the character and what you brought to the show for the decades you've been on it. And when you look back at all of your storylines in GH, do you have one that just sticks out in your mind as your all-time favorite or least favorite that you've done? Because you've really run the gamut.
I have. Well, I can tell you that after we did the Frank Smith storyline, which was very popular, and then we went into the Cassadine story where it was about us freezing the world, I really thought, okay, you know, I think we've gone too far. This is embarrassing. And but I couldn't
have... You
have...
looked good in the dress with the gun. Remember? You were in the dress with the gun.
You're not going to let anybody freeze to death, are you?
Yes, I know. It's funny because I've heard the fans say many times they like me with a gun. I know they pointed out... They always mention it because it seems so unlikely for Laura to be doing that. Yeah, but I thought that was like way over the top, and clearly I was very, very wrong. I loved the time on the show when we had little Jonathan Jackson, and it was me and Tony, and at that point it wasn't Luke and Laura anymore, it was Luke, Laura, and Lucky.
Is there anything else? No, I think that pretty much covers it.
No, it doesn't. Because at the root of all of this, Lucky, the problem is you didn't come to us.
Yeah, Mom and Dad told me that,
Your father said that he wouldn't bail you out, to give you the opportunity to learn how to solve your own problems. Now, that is a far cry from sneaking around and lying to us. We don't do that in this family.
I know. You're right.
No matter what it is, Lucky, we can handle it if we are together. Go to school. I don't want you to be late.
And it was very exciting. I liked being around him as he started to get this thing. And he definitely brought some new magic to that relationship.
I mean, when Laura had the catatonic breakdown, and that was so sad, where she was losing her grip on reality, was that a difficult story for you to play? You did beautiful performances in that, but I was wondering what you thought of that, because it was so sad to see her just going away. And it was a beautiful performance, but how did you feel about that storyline?
Well, leaving the show, it's sad that it took me leaving the show to get a good story. That was sad. But I felt at the time, I'm an actress, and so when I get something really juicy and really meaty, I love it. So I had a great time doing that. And then when I left, it was hard. It was emotional. But I went with my husband off to London, and that was the next chapter in my life.
A last question for you. Would Laura continue to cross paths with Valentine, who murdered, for all intended purposes, her son Nicholas? I mean, she has got to have this vendetta about this guy.
She absolutely has a vendetta. What she's going to do with it and how she's going to use it remains to be seen right now. I think right now, Laura, who's got the biggest heart, and it is kind of like the heroine of the show in many ways. This is the one person on the planet who she truly hates. And it would be interesting, I think, if she had to go through the exercise of forgiving him. But I also like that there's this one place where we can see all of that negativity and evil come out. I like that Laura has a dark side. I really like that. I do
too. And Spencer's back too, which is great for her.
Yeah, I love that.
Little guy.
Yeah.
Jeannie, thank you so much. We look forward to more of you in General Hospital, and we all love you, and we're glad you're back.
Thank you. Nice to be back.